Welcome to the Football Show on PLZ Soccer's YouTube channel. Here's what's coming up on today's show. Alistair Johnston returns to Celtic training and a boost for Brendan Rodgers. Neil Banfield hints Rangers will field a strong 11 against Morton.
No, I think it's a cup game. I don't think you give anyone opportunities to stake their claim. I think the manager will pick the team that he feels will win the game.
Cammy Devlin brands Rosenborg victory the best night of his career.
Safe to say it's probably one of the best nights of my career, definitely.
Hibs number 2, Jamie McAlister, believes Elie Youan could be a game changer this season.
He's a game changer, he's a game winner, so him and Boyle tonight were excellent.
Yeah, some great results in European football. Of course, Hearts and Hibs flying the flag. What a great night it was.
Yeah, listen, it was a great night for Scottish football. We all know that I think the Swiss teams are kind of creeping up on us in that coefficient. So for Rangers obviously to beat Servette and then Hibs last night to beat Luzern, I think Luzern are a good side. I think that was a great result. I watched the game actually, and they were under the caution, and Jamie just spoke about the two boys there, Boyle and Youan, and they won them a game. Their pace on the counter-attack, particularly the second goal, was just a lump up the park, and Youan, skinned the boy and cut it back for Boyle. So, and then they seen it out, but great night for Scottish football, I thought. Yeah, over the two nights, we've gained 1.8 points in the coefficient. I don't think we'd have been talking about that type of thing 20 years ago, because we were always in European competition, not worrying about it. But now every point is a prisoner, especially when you look at the game the night before, because we were looking at Rangers and thinking, okay, they need to do the business here, and it's an old stager, the captain, who comes up with a crucial goal.
Exactly. I think all in, when you look at the both the nights, it's been brilliant, as you say, for Scottish football, and let's hope that they can progress. Although I think the Hibs one's going to be a little bit harder than what Hearts will be over in Greece. But yes, all in as a collective, it's very, very positive coefficiency, starting to sneak ahead in that country. So it's all positive.
Yeah. What did you make of Rangers?
I thought they were. They'd done enough. Probably not as fluent as the manager wants them to be at the moment, especially you could probably see the top end of the pitch. But it's still early days. Still early days in the season. Apart from the first league game of the season, they're grinding out results. So I think if they find a little bit of form, get a bit of momentum, then who knows what could happen. But I think the manager knows that there's a bit of work to be done.
Yeah, managers earn their corn with what they say at half time, and that was evident right across the board over the two nights.
Yeah, I think before the game we were told the Rangers were going to come out flying and we're going to have a go at them. It never worked that way. Sometimes that's what happens in games, but certainly in the second half they knew what they had to do. They need to come up with something, and that just shows you that they've got something there. I would, like Lee was saying there, I would prefer them talking about the new strikers scoring goals and talking about how good the goalkeeper was. We always need a good goalkeeper in European football, but I think it's the strikers that need to start hitting the headlines.
Yeah, but as a keeper though, Ruffy,
super, yeah.
The two saves are magic.
But we saw it with Alan McGregor. I mean, Lee saw it with Alan McGregor. We touched on it last week there. That's what big goalkeepers do. They make the big saves at the right time, and that's what the boy did.
Yeah, and following such a good goalkeeper, there's almost no time to allow yourself to bed in. He's got to hit the ground running, and everything that comes at him, he's got to produce.
I know, and to be fair, he's done that.
Yeah,
I think it's a little bit when Coisty took over for Walter. He said it's like take the mic off Sinatra sort of thing, and having to sing, and it's a little bit like that. But I think he's done brilliant since he's come in. There's no positive. These saves potentially you could say helped him get through. So let's wait and see if he can keep it going consistently.
Yeah, it's like that. Even Hibs fans had that feeling with yourself, Tam. The likes of Keith Wright, a bit of Sinatra, and then hand over to you a bit of Joe Dolce. So, it's not exactly it's not exactly something you can balance out, is it?
Yeah, it was that.
I'm winding you up. Listen, we were talking about. Rangers Butland made the saves. Tavernier comes up with the crucial goal as well, but as far as Hearts and Hibs are concerned, you're saying to yourself, I was worried about Hibs, I must admit. I hold my hands up to it. I thought, they gave Luzern too many chances in the first leg, but suddenly, when the time was right, when they had those opportunities, they were able to take them. The movement by Boyle for the second one was absolutely superb.
Yeah, well, I think Hibs have got goals in them this season. They've got goals in them. I think the two wide boys, Elie Youan and Boyle, are rapid. So they're going to cause teams problems. I think Elie Youan's got a trick as well. He can go by someone. Boyle's just sheer pace. And you've got Dylan Vente, who's obviously just come into the club. It looks handy as well. And Adam Lafondra and Christian Doidge, if you want to go a little bit direct. So I think they've got plenty of options in the front areas. I, like you, was worried that defensively they would be, tested a bit too much last night. But listen, they got 2 goals. I think they needed the 2 goals, clearly, or else we're going to be in trouble. But I always feel that Hibs can score a goal at the minute, and if they can just tighten up a little bit at the back. They lost 2 poor goals, particularly the second one, just a corner into the box and the striker gets a free header. It's poor defending. If Hibs can just tighten up a little bit, I don't know if they're going to sign another centre-half or they're going to sign defenders, but if they can tighten up a little bit, I think they'll be pretty strong this year.
You look a yo-yo by isn't it, Ruffy? One week it's a sack, 1 week it's crisis. I tipped
Hibs to finish 3rd this season. I did a couple of weeks ago.
But you're a bit erratic at the moment.
I am because, as I said, with the manager, he's on his bad week this week because he's went great result, crap result, great result, poor performance. Great result last night, and then it's on to Raith Rovers on Sunday. So he needs to break that sequence and try and put a bit of consistency together.
Managers must be tearing his hair out. The performances have been sky high, then really low with them. But I don't think they'll be far away for 3rd as well. I think the front 3 are looking really, really good for me, and I think they probably need a centre half.
Yep.
To come in, and I agree. I don't think they'll be far away.
Yeah, Jamie McAlister was speaking to the press after the game, obviously talking about the qualities that Tam has highlighted in Elie Youan.
Yeah, that's what Ellie's got in his game. He's a game changer. He's a game winner. So him and Boyle tonight were excellent. Worked hard off the ball, and then they got the quality to get the goals in the game as well. So big part of our game.
Yeah. He's one of those guys, Ruffy, sometimes I look at him and I think, he could beat 3-4 men. He reminds me of a guy, he's a wee bit before your time, Lee, but he reminds me a bit of Ted McMinn. Ted McMinn was one of those guys who get everybody out of the stands. They couldn't believe his skill. He'd beat 3 men and then he'd fall over a piece of grass. I mean, he'd moments of genius, and you thought, gosh, he could go for 30 million. Well, he could go for 30 million if Charlie Adam was the main man discussing it, but he was a great lad, Ted.
Yeah, he certainly was. In the old school, that's what wingers were all about. They were unpredictable. And if you were a centre forward there, you'd be making runs into the box, thinking the ball's coming in, and it's not coming in. It's going back, and then it might come in the next time. So you go to make another run, and then it might not come in again. And that's what they were like, But certainly, if you've got a good delivery and you're a centre forward, you're quite prepared to wait and it coming in. But certainly, yeah, this boy here has got a trick or two. But in the modern day now, he's got the pace as well. And that's what defenders don't like. Yeah,
Lee, you must have been particularly pleased with. I mean, Tynecastle, as you know, at the best of times, if you can lift the crowd, all well and good. If suddenly you're in a situation where you're facing the exit from Europe, and boy, they were staring at the edge of the cliff, weren't they?
They were. It's 4 minutes in. They've conceded from the set play, and I felt it went a bit flat. Then they went a bit nervous, the team went a bit nervous, and then Oda's hit the post, and then obviously right on top of that the goals came. Then I thought Rosenborg started looking really, really nervous, and then the crowd started getting on top, and the team used the crowd, and fantastic performance overall. Probably a bad start, obviously, but to show the character to come back and go through is brilliant for the boys and the management team, who have been under a bit of pressure and got a bit of stick for the set up there and everything. I thought the substitutes they made, very attacking subs they made, I think they deserved it, and it's a great night for everybody.
Yeah, tell me about Cammy Devlin.
Heart on his sleeve, really honest player, not prolific at all. I think his 2 goals, I don't even know if he got that in the full of last season, but he finds himself in the box time and time again. Got his rewards last night for boys. He's great bit of composure and shot, and then he got a little bit of luck with the deflection, but he's still brave enough to take the shot on, and then getting back and breaking up the play. He's a real good player, and he's very good. Obviously he went away in the World Cup there and come back with Messi's top, but I thought that would have been the highlight of his career.
Yeah, it will be 15 years from now when he punches it.
That's what I feel with.
It's not caring about any signing on fee anywhere else. But can I just say, if Lee was still in the dugout there, you know, he's not known for his shooting. He would basically have gone for the first one, pass it. When it gets back to him, pass it again. But suddenly, you know, you've got to buy a ticket for the raffle.
Yeah, he got his little bit of luck, but as Lee said there, you're brave enough to go and have a shot on goal. His first effort was terrible. He got a wee bounce of the ball, come back to him. And listen, if you're Rosenborg, you're sick. It's, you know, you've grafted that whole night and a wee deflection, and you're out of the tournament. But I thought he did a very good game actually. I was flicking back and forward with that in the Hibs game, and I thought Hearts deserved it. I thought second half, I think Lawrence Shankland's a terrific player. I remember watching Lawrence he went loan to St Mirren, I think, and I didn't really see it, to be honest. And then he's went to United with Collie, and he's lost weight. He looks fitter. He looks leaner. He looks sharper. He's all, you know, and I think he looks a tremendous all-round striker at the minute. He can hold the ball in. He can run in behind. He can finish. He's got everything. I think Hearts will struggle to keep a hold of him, Peter, in this window.
Yeah, that's the other thing about it. You get a player like that, and you say to yourself, just let the window close, don't let him move on. Although the boy would be like any other footballer at the moment, you've got to think, you know, of your family, you've got to think of the long term. Yeah,
and the worst thing about it now, as soon as somebody mentions Saudi, you know, that's when the alarm bells start ringing, you know, and I'm sure if you're a player, you know, like him, you know, and maybe don't know whether if it was up there or it wasn't up there, it might have been just agent talk or whatever, but certainly the money that they're talking about over there is going to distract anybody, even the top players. So if it was on the cards, you have to hope that he's sensible enough to take it on board and deal with it if it does come.
The strange thing about it, Ruffy, you know, it's a generational thing as we move through. You know, in this programme we have young guys that have just finished, you know, and can look at their era and they were playing in. You win the League Cup, you beat Celtic 4-1. If we to try and equate that to today, Ruffy, and based on the kind of loyal person you are, you're about maybe 19, you win the League Cup, and the Saudi Arabian club come in for you. Do you just stick with the same path that you had in your career, or are you off to Saudi Arabia?
I'd go on trying to find out what flights were leaving.
You didn't ask me.
I don't even hear looking at you. And by the way, you'd have been standing wearing this scarf and everything. You were giving it big legs. Of course, listen, Cammy Devlin, no surprise. It's just one of those nights that he'll never forget.
Yeah, well, like you said, I don't get to experience that very often for myself. I'm usually seeing Shanks or someone put it in the back of the net, but yeah, a European night at Tynecastle, like I said to you guys yesterday, it doesn't get much better than that, and you know, to win in the 90-odd minute, whatever it was, and be a goal scorer obviously is so special, and yeah, it's safe to say it's probably one of the best nights of my career, definitely.
Yeah, one of those nights that you'll always remember, although hopefully we're in a situation, guys, where, you know, it's a tough one for Hibs against Aston Villa, but you look now and you're saying to yourself, are the other two, should we be thinking winnable? You know,
I think Rangers
Aberdeen have got BK Hacken, Rangers have got PSV, Hibs have got Aston Villa.
You just don't want the Hibs Aston Villa game to be a humiliation. You don't want Hibs to beat them 4 or 5.
I remember, you remember how many...
He's not even listening to you. You didn't even pick up on it.
How many years ago was it Hearts played Spurs in a European tournament at Tynecastle?
10 years. Yeah.
I remember being at that game and watching the difference between Hearts and Hibs. It was night and day. That Premiership, the English Premiership. They were bigger, they were stronger, they were faster. I know things have moved. I know things have moved on, you know, so... I always say when a Scottish club comes up against an English club, you've always got a chance. It's up to you. You catch them. You could catch them on a bad night. You could catch them mixing their team up or whatever. So I really hope they've got a chance. I really, particularly at home.
I think Hearts. I think they have played English clubs. So I mean, Hearts are going to play PAOK as well. You're hoping it's not. There's a difference between falling into the classic, English Premier League is absolutely magnificent. There's obviously the difference in quality and the levels. Hibs need to work out a way to do something completely different to try and upset a manager who every year was well used to winning the Europa League.
Yep, we're two different teams. I think their experience is there. I think it's a massive task for Hibs, but if you're sitting in the Hibs dressing room, there's no point getting into the game if you don't believe you can win. And yes, there's Aston Villa's full of stars, let's call them, and tremendous stadium, with a great atmosphere down there, and at Easter Road you've got the John McGinn factor. But it's a game of football. That's what it comes down to, and they need to go in and believe. And
well, give me your mindset when you went down to Wigan. Did you have that? Did you have that sense that they thought he's coming from that league? What's he going to be like? Or
well,
was there an inferiority complex, a worry from you?
I think they disregard the league in general, but from my perspective, you just go down and let's see what the game brings. There's no point fearing it or being worried about it. You just go in and go and try your best, and I think that's what the Hibs players need to do. If they don't go through, you've got to look at the positives of getting the experience of playing in the arena against these sort of players. Hearts, on the other hand, have the majority of the squad have got the experience of playing in Europe last year as well, and then coming back and playing a league game. So I think Hearts are obviously going to be favourites to go through over Hibs in the two games, but I think the experience the Hibs players will gain from it if they don't go through, which it's looking like they might not. I'll set them up for the rest of the season. Yeah,
Aberdeen BK Hacken is certainly a winnable tie, I think.
Yeah, isn't Aberdeen beat them a couple of seasons ago under Stephen Glass? I think they battered them 5-1 at home. I've played against Hacken as well when I was at Dunfermline. They beat us narrowly. I think that Aberdeen can definitely win that tie. I think they won 4-0 or 3-0 last night. They won 7-1. They were playing a team for Lithuania, who I don't think are up to much. So I think Aberdeen have got every opportunity to get through that. You'll not get a better opportunity, a better draw. You look at the draw that Hibs have landed, and even Hearts to that extent. I think Hacken, if you're Aberdeen, your Swedish team, you're thinking we've got every opportunity. But in the group stage of Europa League, which is mega money. So listen, I hope they get through, and I think they will.
Yeah,
I fancy them to beat Hacken over 2 legs. I like to look at Aberdeen this season.
Hearts.
No, I think Hearts will just come up short. I think they're a decent side, plus they'll be roasting over in Greece at this time of the year. Hibs, no. I just say that I had a joke earlier, but I just hope it's no. I don't hope they don't get spanked. I hope they keep it competitive. I hope they keep it competitive going into the second leg down there. I hope it's not 3 or 4 nothing at home, and then there's a bit of damp squib. I hope Hibs can keep it alive with something going down there.
Lee's talked about momentum and how you need time, slowly but surely, to find that style that Michael Beale's trying to find, and it's PSV, and all the talk from the PSV camp is revenge.
Yeah, and I think they will be heavily fired up for it after losing last year against Rangers. I thought certain moments of the game went against PSV. The goalkeeper threw one in, I think, Ibrox. I think the big boy De Jong went off in the second leg early. I think he's a key player for them as well. I think obviously they've strengthened this season. I think they look stronger. Malik Tillman's come in as well, so Rangers will need to play very well to get through this tie, and I think PSV would be favourites to win it.
Yeah, so is that your tip?
Yeah, I think PSV. I think PSV will just nick it and go through.
Yeah, Lee.
Very tough leg, to both legs. Sorry.
Do you think PSV are better this year?
Yes,
so
I do. And for Rangers, I just don't think they've found the momentum yet. But this could be the game that finds them the momentum and the confidence and the cohesion. I think it will be very tight, very tight.
Yeah, I'm glad you think that. I was going to say, Ruffy, he's only in 2 weeks. Do we let him now? What do you want me to do, Ruffy?
No, let it go.
Because he's got that. We've got to let him bed in, before he eventually gives us an opinion on it. Is that fair, Ruffy?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Because I think I don't see enough of a pattern right now from Rangers that you're saying to yourself, right, it's better than you're expecting Michael Beale's side to knock PSV out. I've watched PSV and I thought to myself, they look better than last season. I agree with Lee.
Yeah, I think these teams are better year on year, but I always tend to, when Rangers or Celtic, before the group stages, the teams that come to Rangers and come to Celtic, I think we talk them up too much. No, they're not unbeatable. You know, we put them away up there, or they've got that player, they've got that player, they've got that player. And I've seen teams coming to Ibrox and Rangers having to get a chance, and they haven't got a chance. And they usually turn it over, or they get through it. I'm not talking about the Barcelonas, the Real Madrids, the Juventuses and all them. I'm talking about teams I mean, this team are now the champions of the league. You know, they're a good side, they've got good players, but so have Rangers and so have Celtic. So at home, I always think we talk them up to, well, here's this team coming, wow, what chance have you got?
Yeah. We only talk them up sometimes, Ruffy, if you actually watch them play.
Yeah, I know, but
I know where you're going with it.
They can be really good and come to Ibrox and Rangers beat them 2-0.
Yeah.
Or Rangers will win 2-1, or Rangers or Celtic will do this and do that. I just think we should talk up our own teams at home particularly.
Okay.
Tough places to play, Celtic Park and Ibrox.
Yeah.
On European nights for the away team, obviously. If the home team starts well and you get the crowd behind you, they're very, very difficult stadiums to play at.
Give me a game where you played in where, and I agree with you, I think that the crowd is absolutely massive. Give me a game where you played in where people were looking. I mean, I can think of a good few away from home because you guys could pull off a miracle when you were all like, yeah, absolutely. Honestly, they were unbelievable. But give me a game at home against a team where everybody was thinking, oh, I think Rangers could go out or lose this game, and you and the team just responded and were swept up by the crowd and won it.
And won it?
Yeah.
So I was going to say Barcelona there, but we didn't win it. You need to come back to me.
Yeah, get your thinking cap on. There's probably 1,000,001 people going, come on, you don't remember that game.
You put me in the spot.
Yeah, absolutely. But you know, I get that fact. I know from your own point of view, being an ex-Rangers player, you know, it's one of those things where you're saying to yourself, I really want them to do it. Whether they can or not, I get where you're coming from. You have been here 10 years. Are you tipping Rangers to go through over 2 legs?
Yeah, I'm going to, yeah.
Yeah?
Very narrowly, yeah.
Brilliant, Ruffy.
I think it'll be tight, I totally agree, but
absolutely. Took us 2.5 minutes to get out.
No, but I don't think...
You want an answer from me? I'll give you an answer.
Yeah.
I think Rangers will go through very, very narrowly.
Right,
yeah.
Right, that's good, that's good. Well, the thing about it is, from us two, we're sitting here going, I wonder how long they're going to waste in this show just telling us the probabilities of everything, and then they're going to give us a prediction on it. Listen, it's the joy of this game, you know. It'd be great if we were all left with egg on our face, Tam, and we're sitting saying to ourselves, I can't believe Hibs, but I think they're going to get spanked.
Yeah. You know what's going to happen in a fortnight. We're going to get slaughtered. He'll just write that in his book. What was it Lee said?
By the way, it's none of this when you're doing your Sky and they went, oh, well done, Lee. You know, it's 2 weeks from now. We're waiting, going, you're getting leathered. But no, I mean, I think feasibly, you're looking and you're saying to yourself, 4 out of the 5, I think I've got a right good chance. I can't see Hibs. Hibs are the only one that I'm just totally writing off.
Hibs are not going through.
Rangers is tight, but I think PSV are, you know, I think I'm just an opinion.
Yeah, I think PSV maybe just, listen, it's going to be a tight game, and it could be moments in the game. And it was moments last season. It was a tight game last year. You know, the goalkeeper at Ibrox, I thought PSV were on top in the game. Bad mistake, Rangers get momentum. Big striker goes off at half time, I think, last year. De Jong, who's already scored 4 or 5 in this season in the qualifiers. So it could be, it's going to be something like that, a big moment, big save, a great goal. It's going to be very tight. I can't see either team, you know, winning 3 or 4-0. So it's going to be very tight. Yeah, before we get to the Viaplay League Cup matches coming up over the weekend and get the guys' thoughts on how they think they're all going to pan out, a couple of things worthy of our discussion in the news. Celtic have turned down the Rangers tickets and they plan to ban the Rangers fans when it gets back to the derby match at Celtic Park, and so it continues, Ruffy.
Now, you're going to correct me if I'm wrong here. I read something. I read an article in the book 220B, something like that, right? What Rangers are doing it by the book. There's a minimum people you can invite, and they've done them. Yes. Celtic have went the opposite way and said no, you're not getting any. Now, at the end of that thing that I read is the powers that be determine the outcome of this.
Yes.
And that's the bosses in charge. They need to come out from wherever they're hiding and say, we're making a decision on this.
Yeah, but Celtic's
this is in the rules.
Absolutely, but Celtic's argument is for 750 Celtic fans in that corner, safety is a huge issue now.
Yeah, but Rangers are going to come back with saying, look, in the rule book it says you need to let 800 in. That's in the rule book, isn't it? They've got to do it. So they're not doing it. So somebody needs to come up and make a definitive, look, get round the table, the three, and let's work this out.
Yeah, well, that would be great for someone to do that, but there's a great imbalance, basically, that type of thing doesn't happen. It doesn't happen from the SPFL board to Celtic or Rangers.
It's sad.
It's killed the game.
It's sad. There's nothing better than that. I wasn't fortunate enough to play in an Old Firm game. I played in Edinburgh derbies, and when you run out and you see a full stand of your own supporters, it gives you a lift. It brings colour to the game, the atmosphere, and they need to sort it out. It's just, I think it's really, really sad, and that you're not seeing away supporters, and 750 fans. You're better with nothing. You know, honestly, I don't see 750 fans brings nothing to the game, really.
Yeah.
You've got 50,000 your own fans, 60,000 your own fans, in a little small pocket. But they've got to. I think they've got to get round the table and say, listen, come on, let's get the fans back in. Let's get a full stand at Ibrox, and let's get the 6,000 or 7,000 at Partick.
What was your favourite game? I mean, obviously you're playing in games where there's 7,000 Celtic fans either at Ibrox.
They were the best ones.
And 7,000 Rangers fans at Celtic Park.
When the Ibrox ones with Celtic, the full stand, were the best games. The atmosphere tremendous. Obviously, the Celtic fans very, very loud. Even away from home, you see the Rangers fans really loud. You can hear them. When the opposition fans are not there, it's not the same.
Yeah,
it's just not the same. I'd love to see both clubs sort it out somehow and get the old firm atmospheres back.
Yeah, what was your favourite game?
Personally, probably Celtic Park when I scored. That one.
What was the score?
One each.
One each.
Or my debut one 4-0. 4-0, I think.
Who scored the other game? The other goals?
What? Is this a quiz show?
No, because
some Robertson can tell you every goal he scored.
Robbo,
what time?
I kid you not, because Robbo and I used to do a radio show in Edinburgh, right? I'm not kidding you. He could tell me where it was raining, the state of the park, how many people were there, and who crossed it. What was he like? Robbo knew everything. He could tell me of the 27 Derby goals. He could tell you. I mean, he even said to me one day, and Ruffy made a back end of it, and I started laughing as I went past him because it was getting in the net. I mean, and you can't even. You know, you played for Rangers, don't you? Because some people want to, wallow in your insight into it because it's a fabulous game. I know you've said that. Is there ever? And here's the thing about the 7,000 fans, away fans, whether it's Celtic or Rangers. Is there that moment when you've played in a game where you're playing in it? I know players can block out the noise at times, but is there a game where you played in and you can hear the fans and you're thinking, we could be on a doing here? Has there ever been a game where you've been in it and you're thinking, oh,
intimidated?
Well, not only intimidated, but the way the game was going, you thought, oh, we could be getting leathered here.
Quite a few games. Did in England nearly every week.
Yeah, but Celtic Rangers game, was there ever a game, because of the madness of the atmosphere of it? We love it.
No, because I think you're going out there with complete belief, and it's can be deemed as more than a football game because you've got the bragging rights and there's so much at stake. Sometimes you come in after a draw and it's just relief. Sometimes you come in after a win and it's just relief.
Yeah.
That's it, finished now, it's done with, that's it until the next one comes so we can relax now, that sort of thing. So the stakes are sky high. The players are under supreme pressure.
Yeah.
Supreme pressure.
Did you go out after an Old Firm game?
No, never.
Never?
Never.
You just...
Under my bed.
That's the brilliant part of it.
Barry
Can I just say something to you though? He had that special kind of a mentality over it, but the fact is we love it. I think it's lost it. The only way you're getting it now is in a cup game. So we want to see we want to see something happen to change it back to the way it was.
Yeah, it's taken away from what is a massive fixture in world football. It's one of the biggest derbies in the world, and you know, when you're running out, you look to your right, you see your away fans. You know, it's a great feeling. So they've got to sort it out, Peter. It's for them to have no fans whatsoever is embarrassing. Yeah, absolutely. Okay. You can give us your view on that as well. Don't forget, our predictor is absolutely up and running, and lots of people are taking advantage of it. You can join it at any point. Quite simply, all you have to do is go onto the PLZ Soccer app or go on the website, click on predictor, and you can log yourself in and predict the Premiership games in Scotland and come up against all the pundits and see how you fare. You're not doing too good at the moment, Tam, I have to tell you. In this, I think I'm above you, but Peter.
Yeah, well, I'm 78. What are you?
I don't know, 50 something.
Yeah, I'm going to check that. I'm going to check that.
How did you get 50 and you've only been doing 2 weeks?
Yeah, the 50th.
Oh, 50th.
Yeah, and the whole thing.
Did somebody do mine last week?
No, if you don't do it yourself, you're bumped.
Well, by the way, it doesn't matter. You can still get the points. You can still get in there and get points.
Somebody's registered.
Month to month.
Somebody registered them. I've seen it. I've seen his username.
Well, there you are. You're in.
Lee.
What? I'll check and see,
right, okay.
Because you've got to be in it as well. And of course, what do you make of the other signing we got on the Monday? You happy with that?
Yes.
That's not bad, is it?
Great signing.
Quite a good midfield.
Guy.
You two would have actually played brilliant in the holding role together.
I believe we would have. I really do.
Can you imagine?
Lenny was such an underrated player. He really was. I remember because I was, before I got into the Hibs first team, I would watch Celtic games or Rangers games, whatever it was, and I'd look at Neil Lennon, I'd just look at him and I'd go, what's he do?
Yeah.
He's denting. He's slow, he doesn't get about the park, he just gives easy ball, but you actually play against him. I remember playing against him and Lambert were sitting in the middle of the park for Celtic, and I was playing for Hibs, and as soon as you get the ball bang right round you, 3 triangles. Terrific player, underrated, I think, Neil Lennon.
Did you like playing against him?
I'm not sure I played many games against him.
No, you wouldn't have actually. Yeah.
I think he was the manager when I come up, or just about to be the manager.
Yeah.
But I agree, what a football player.
He was good.
Yeah. So not a bad couple of signings, Ruffy. You know.
Great.
You happy with it?
Yeah, it was brilliant. It was good.
You and goals, us sitting front, you up front.
Aye.
Absolutely.
No. He's going off the bench. I see when he was talking about Hibs games, you turn when you run out there, you know, and the atmosphere. What minute was it when you come out?
When I'm really warm up, I got a wee
I have to say, I must admit, by the way, I wouldn't have liked to have played against you in an 11-a-side match, just because of the nature of the way you went about your business, because you could play so many different areas. It's great playing 5-a-sides against you because, you know, we can all shut you down. But you know, it's I felt sorry for you today. Even with all the players that you had on your side, you still get battered.
Yeah, we were on the Reece. Simon Donnelly wasn't he?
Yep.
Up to his level yet, is he?
Yep.
And I wasn't there because I was away on holiday.
Yeah. Oh, is that what it was?
Of course, that's
yeah.
I'm blaming him.
And Mark Wilson as well. I mean, we had Faddy and Alec Ray. I mean, you can't fail.
Yeah.
You know
but
what I mean?
then they've got to do you running.
Well,
so. Exactly.
Well, as Chris Waddle used to say, why run 40 yards when you can pass it 40? Let's move on. Ruffy, what about the Livy CEO? Of course, I think from everybody's point of view, they're looking at the situation highlighted by David Martindale. You know, they need investment. There seems to be a boardroom battle going on at the moment for power. It's a power struggle, and the longer it goes on, the more it gets closer to that window closing, and he could be cut adrift just thinking to himself, we could be heading to the Championship here.
Well, I think we all expected something. I think it was about 6 months before the end of the season last year, David Martindale was coming out and telling everybody the state of affairs behind the scene and the money situation, about players having to leave and how much he can get a player for the Championship. So there's definitely something happening behind the scenes. I'm not privy to who's in this power struggle, but having been there at Thistle, I know it can, as long as it stays away from the football team, you've got a chance. When it starts festering, you know, away from the boardroom, you know, that's when you get trouble. So you need somebody strong in there to get it sorted out, and that's why they keep talking about selling a big boy up front. They need that £1 million.
Yeah, and it's amazing how they highlighted the need to try and get into that top 6. That could have been a game changer for them as well.
People don't appreciate at the end of the season the breakdown of the money from the SFA, you know, where you end in the league. I mean, 56 is a lot of money, you know, 54th is even more, you know, and you budget that at the beginning of the season. If you don't make that budget, you've got a shortfall, and somebody's got to answer for it.
Yeah, here's what John Ward had to say on the whole situation that Livingston are facing. We have been trying to get investment into the club since COVID. Livingston cannot sustain the losses it's made in the last 2 years unless we bring in investment. The difficulty is that we are pushing to be top 6, missing out narrowly, and then the difference in the income is killing us. But based on that, you look at Livingston, and we understand, and you know, the joys of some of the history that they have achieved since coming into existence. But they don't have a strong fan base. It's not a great business plan when you don't build it on the sound foundation of, okay, here is a fan base, now we know what we can spend. I think they're always looking for the payouts, the league position, investment from owners.
They need to be in the Premier League because they're getting maybe 2 home games against Hearts, 2 home games against Hibs, Celtic, Rangers, maybe Aberdeen. That's probably keeping them afloat, those games, you know, because, you know, Hearts will bring 3 or 4,000, Celtic, Rangers will fill it.
Yeah,
you know, the Hearts are the same, you know, and Livingston, you're right in the middle of you know, Glasgow and Edinburgh. It's an attachment area where there's going to be a lot of Celtic, Rangers, Hearts, Hibs, and it's difficult to attract fans to go to the games. They've tried everything, Livingston. They're going to schools, they're giving free tickets away. You know, they're trying their hardest, but you know, they're a small club and they're punching above their weight, and that's the bottom line. And I think you can tell with Davy Martindale over the last, as Ruffy says, few months, he's maybe getting a wee bit sick of it. He's maybe thought to himself, listen, what else can I do here? You know, I'm keeping them up, I'm pushing for the top 6, but we've no money, we've no fans. You know, what more can I do? And this isn't going to help them either.
Here's the fixtures, and here's how Livy are placed in those fixtures over Friday and Saturday and Sunday as well. Stirling Albion, Aberdeen, Rangers against Morton, St Mirren, Motherwell, Livingston against Ayr United, Airdrie against Ross County, Hibs, Raith, Rovers, Hearts against Partick, Thistle, and Kilmarnock against Celtic. And every penny is a prisoner for some of these clubs, as Tam highlighted there. When you look at the League Cup, it's one of those ones where you're hoping Celtic and Rangers suddenly get drawn against each other early to give someone that chance, that fighting chance of adding a trophy. When Rangers were not as strong, you know, and they were down in the lower leagues, there was other clubs there that were able to go and capitalise. And you know, I'm thinking of St Johnstone writing their own little bit of history. Aberdeen haven't won the Cup since 2013, 2014. Should they be expecting something with the players that they're bringing in and the way they're going about the business?
I think every Aberdeen manager that goes there knows they're not going to win a league. So if they get a good cup run, that keeps the supporters on board. If you get the semi-final, you get a final. They've been to a few finals. You know, that's always good. But this competition, more than anything, the Championship teams have done particularly well. I don't know whether it's just at the beginning of the season, the big teams are getting themselves organised, but I'm looking at that, and I'm looking at possibly a couple of shocks in these ones. I'm looking at Airdrie at home and Ayr United away.
Okay, oh, you've gone early, Ruffy. That's unlike you to give us the tips as early as that. But hang fire, we're going to talk about some of them. Rangers are taking on Morton. Adam Binney was out at the training centre.
I'm at the Rangers training centre to speak to assistant manager Neil Banfield ahead of Rangers Viaplay Cup last 16 tie against Greenock Morton at Ibrox tomorrow. But a lot of the news surrounding Rangers this week is about that first Old Firm tie on the 3rd of September. That's because it's believed that Celtic will refuse the 701 away tickets offered to them for that fixture. Speaking to Neil Banfield, he admits that he would love to have away fans at this match, but that decision is simply well above his pay grade. He turns his focus to the match in hand, that match against Greenock Morton this weekend, where he said that this is not a chance for squad rotation or to get players minutes, and that Rangers will go full strength.
No, I don't think. I think it's a cup game. I don't think you give anyone opportunities to state their claim. I think the manager will pick the team that he feels will win the game. It's a big cup game. The club's got great history in it, so I think we'll use it to get into the next round of the cup, and then we'll take every game as it comes, and we play Morton, then we move on to PSV next week. But this game is firmly in our focus, you know, and we're looking to win tomorrow.
Banfield spent many years with Arsene Wenger at Arsenal before joining Michael Beale here at Ibrox, and he admitted that he is pleasantly surprised by the magnitude of the club he has joined.
Yeah, without a doubt. I think that's what I think I found coming into Rangers. The expectancy level of winning at this big club, that's what it's all about. That's what we was at Arsenal, and that's what Rangers have, and that's what we have to live with. I think, if I'm honestly, yes, I think you walk in, you come from Arsenal, and you come at Rangers, you walk out of Ibrox, it's fantastic, on a personal point, you know, and it's great. It's about, you've got to look through that, and it's what you do on the grass, and that's what we're working towards. Yeah,
Dougie Emery will be relishing this one, Rafi.
I was saying to Tam earlier, if that had been at Capello, some of the new signings at Rangers would get their eye open just walking in and along that tunnel before they go into the park. I think Morton have really improved. I think Dougie Emery's bought a lot of good signings. I expect them to be challenging for the top four again, the Championship. But Rangers have got the home advantage, and I don't think if he leaves out any big players out, I think the players coming in should be still good enough to beat Morton at home. Yeah.
Did you ever have any of your teammates suddenly go to one of these grounds and think, what the hell is happening?
In the divisions there was a few.
Oh, the Hedge.
There was a few, yes.
Oh, the Hedge. I'll never forget the Hedge.
But you just got to get on with it, haven't you? You've got to get on with it. But I think Rangers' home advantage, Dougie's done unbelievably well with Morton. I think challenging as well, same as Ruffy. I don't see any slip up at all. I see Rangers being comfortable.
Yeah, Kilmarnock against Celtic. Derek McInnes is really looking forward to this one. Is there maybe a chance of an upset here on the basis that Celtic have got some injury problems? This is what Brendan Rodgers had to say on a couple of them that Celtic have been looking and wondering about. And of course, one of them was, I watched the game against Rangers, said Brendan. They did very well. Derek's teams are always very well organised. The surface always plays its part, and we can't have any excuse going into the game. We're in the competition to win it, and to do that, you're going to have to beat good teams and difficult opponents. And of course, he went on to say that Carter Vickers and Hatate are out this weekend. They'll be assessed over the coming weeks. Ruffy.
Well, I think if you look at any of the couple of Celtic games that's been there, it's defensively they haven't been as strong as what they have been. Obviously, becoming Vickers being out, you know, everybody will be waiting to see who's going to get that spot. So I mean, Derek will be obviously targeting that area and looking at, you know, getting at them there. But they've got players in other positions that's going to cause problems. But I saw the interview with Derek at the beginning. He didn't want this tie. I don't think anybody wants Rangers and Celtic early on. You're wanting a good run in this cup. So he'll got his head around it now with the win against Rangers, and the players will believe that if they can do it against Rangers, they can do it against Celtic.
Yeah, we sent our man Patrick Mullen out there to get his thoughts.
Derek McInnes spoke to the media this afternoon here at Rugby Park ahead of his side's round of 16 fixture in the Viaplay Cup against Celtic this weekend. Now, Derek McInnes has been very vocal in recent weeks about his frustration about drawing Celtic in the Cup, but he believes today that his side have not only enough to beat Celtic this weekend, but enough to go all the way in the competition.
It's important we use anything we've got to our advantage. Celtic have got huge advantages over us in terms, and they're going to spend $3 million a day, and we'll probably spend another few million before Sunday. They've got huge advantages over the likes of us, but I think we can hang on to anything really that we can go, and obviously we feel good going into the game, and the players should feel good about themselves.
It has been a great start to the season for Kilmarnock. They are undefeated in their opening 2 games, and that includes that impressive victory at home against Rangers. McInnes says his players are ready for Saturday, and they are feeling good ahead of the cup fixture.
We'll see the cups as a real ambition to try and win a cup. We feel we are a team that can win a cup. I think we've got to say that, and we've got to feel that when we go into a competition. So we want to be a strong cup team. I think it's important that we see the opportunity that's there for us. I think it's important that we want to try and leave our mark on the club by being a successful cup team. Somebody's got to win it, and there's clubs similar size, and Kilmarnock not too distant past has won this tournament as well.
He's well up for it. He wants to win the cup, Tam. 4 points from 6, win over Rangers, draw against Hearts, and you know, came through their group of the League Cup fairly well. Yep,
I think they look strong this season, Kilmarnock. I think they've started well. You know, 2 clean sheets. You know, Rangers and Hearts. You know, not to be sniffed at. They've signed some good experienced players. They've got a bit of youth in there, a bit of pace, legs in the middle of the park, a couple of younger boys in there. So no, I think they look really good, and I think Derek's still smarting from that decision that he never got last season at Hampden, when it was, in my opinion, it was a stonewall penalty kick in the last minute of the game. So they'll be looking to take advantage of maybe Celtic having players missing. Not an easy game for Celtic, but Celtic just win. I think they'll go down there. It's never pretty. It's not going to be pretty football. But Celtic, particularly under Brendan Rodgers, his record in winning cups is impeccable, and I just think they'll go down and win. I think it'll be a tight game, but I just think Celtic will win maybe 2-1. I mean, suddenly you're in a situation, Cameron Carter-Vickers, you know, out injured. That normal back line was Starfelt and Cameron Carter-Vickers. Starfelt is gone. And then you've got a boy just signed, Gustav Lagerbielke, who could be just actually thrown in there.
I think he might need to be. I think Celtic's critics have came from the way they've defended Carter-Vickers, unbelievable football player and defender. He was a rock, pivotal all last season, in the league games especially. So he'll be a big loss. So it's about filling that loss, and it'd be good to see Lagerbielke. Yeah, well done. I was just reading that. Thank you. Thanks very much. It'd be good to get him in there. I think it'll be a really tight game. I think the first goal will be really important. If Kilmarnock get it, it could be really tight. I think if Celtic score the first goal, they'll go on to win it comfortably. Don't worry about pronunciation on players. Ruffy for the last 10 years, he couldn't even pronounce Morelos. So don't put yourself under any pressure. Stephen Welsh, I mean, Alistair Johnston's back in training, which is a real bonus, Ruffy. But Stephen Welsh, we thought he was maybe going to be looking for game time elsewhere. Suddenly signed a new 4-year deal.
Yeah, I was impressed when he came on last week. I think he's matured a lot, like most of these young boys do. They seem to, 1 year they're a certain build, and then they come out the next year, and whatever they do in between, they come out, they look stronger, they look more confident. So no, I think he deserves it. I think he's going to be a right good player. You would expect him to partner Narovski in that centre of the defence. Yeah, you would think so. You know, I think about the boys, the other new boys just got here. I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce his name. That's got lager in it anyway.
So you're more than happy. Yeah, absolutely. What do you make of the fact that there's no VAR in operation in these games? Does that take the heat off? We haven't actually been talking about it that much. No, we haven't, which is good. There's nothing worse. Last season we seemed to come in here every week and it was talking about it. We're not talking about football, goals, great play. We're talking about decisions, and you're right. It's just realised that we've not really been speaking about VAR. I don't agree with some clubs having it and some clubs not having it in a cup competition. I think it should be across the board. Everybody's got it, or across the board nobody's got it. Yeah. So obviously Celtic and Rangers are the ones that moan about it most and you get the most flack from, so they're going to obviously have it. But I don't think it's right that they've got it and the other teams have not got it, because it might come down to a decision that you can't actually have a look at that settles a tie. Yeah, I mean that's always the argument in this one. Just out of curiosity, Hibs against Raith Rovers, when we're talking about a situation where he's gone from great result to not great result, he just has to play his strongest side against Raith Rovers, doesn't he? He does. Listen, I watched the game last night, very difficult night. A couple of my friends were over there, it was roasting. You know, it was 30-32. You know, so they're going to come back, travel back probably last night or this morning. But straight back into it, it's going to be tough, but they need to get the energy levels up, so it's all going to be about energy. Have Hibs got the energy? Because if they've got the energy in the game, and then they can go and beat Raith Rovers, but if they don't, if they're sloppy and they're slack and Raith Rovers start well, the Hibs fans will go in the back, then it becomes a difficult game. But I just hope that he makes the right amount of changes, and changes in the right areas, and I think the Hibs will be fine. And I think they'll narrowly win, because I think Raith Rovers are good. And Ian Murray's a massive Hibs fan, he's a big pal of mine. He would love nothing more to get back Easter Road and turn Hibs over, but I think Hibs will maybe just nick it 2-1. Yeah. Ruffy, what about your boys, Partick at Tynecastle?
Well, they'll be hoping they can go there for the same things we're talking about. You have that European, we hit when you come back, but I always think when you're at home, the Hearts are at home, full crowd's going to be absolutely bursting to get there on Sunday. Thistle haven't started particularly well, they haven't got the results that they were looking for. So I think it's going to be quite a hard day for them. I think Hearts have got a good pool of players. If they were going to rest 2 or 3, I think they'd still be too strong. I don't think Partick Thistle would expect to go there and win the game, so I think they were just looking for a really good performance that they can take on to the league.
Yeah, St Mirren against Motherwell. I'm going to say this because all St Mirren fans want to hear it. St Mirren, the only team alongside Celtic to have a 100% record in the league so far. It's just been nothing but positivity. So we sent Adam Binney out there to see what Stephen Robinson had to say.
I'm at the St Mirren Training Centre this afternoon as the Buddies are preparing for tomorrow's last 16 Viaplay Cup tie. I was here to speak to manager Stephen Robinson ahead of the match, who believes that these domestic cup competitions represent the club's only realistic chance of achieving silverware.
Yeah, it's a target every season for clubs of our size. The reality is we're probably not going to win the league this season, but you've always got a chance in cup competitions because they're one-off games. They're games where anything can happen, and say we'll be as proactive in the game as we can be. We have been in all the pre-season games and the league games so far, where we've taken the game to other teams and we've played some fantastic football. So that needs to continue because, it's a tough test for us, but again at home we feel we're very, very strong.
Still 2 weeks left in the summer transfer window, and manager Stephen Robinson admitted that a win in tomorrow's cup match could not only provide more funds as they look to add to their squad, but could also help attract players to join St Mirren.
There's nothing at this moment in time. As I say, we know the weaknesses in the squad in terms of numbers in certain positions, but there'll have to be a few things moved probably before any of that happens. And as you say, maybe a cup run might persuade people to get me another couple of players.
Yeah, absolutely. Money always helps. You get a cup run as well. Not only does he work wonders, but sometimes when you have a great season, you make a rod for your own back.
He's been, what a start he's had to the season. 6 points out of 6, isn't it? And he's got them playing in a specific way. I think it's a massive game for him. Obviously, being the ex-Motherwell boss, he'll be desperate to beat them, and he'll be quietly confident at home. And obviously, if they win the league, it frees up some more money to bring in some more players. So the importance of the game tomorrow is massive. But again, Motherwell, Welsh done so well. That is going to be a really tight game tomorrow, and a pretty tough one to call. I
like the attitude of managers say, okay, it'd be nice to get a cup run, but we're not relying on it. That's what Stuart Kettlewell had to say.
Yeah, again, it's not something that we've budgeted for because you can't make any guarantees in that, so I think it would be pretty evident that it becomes helpful for us. I've spoke long and hard that we've obviously had some challenges along the way, as you always do, in Scottish football, of course you do. So the fact that we don't budget for it, I think the better we can be in this competition, the more, very simply, it's going to help us.
Yeah, I was impressed with him last week as well. He's bringing in players who are contributing right from the off.
Yes, and you've got Lennon Miller in the middle of the pitch, who played a handful of games last season, but he's been one of the main and best players this year. So there's the youth system there's obviously doing something right. If you look through many years ago, how many good players have come through that youth system.
Yeah,
like your McFaddens and stuff, and people like that, and Pearsons that have come through.
Who was your gaffer when you broke into the side?
Billy Davis.
Billy Davis.
Yeah.
Tremendous manager.
Brilliant. Yeah, I mean, they're a right good team. Did you like playing?
Don Goodman, John Spencer.
Oh, God's sake, man.
Yeah. Great education.
Did you ever chat the door and say, look, gaffer, these boys are on a right good whack. Is there any chance I could maybe get parity here? No.
I wasn't like that, no. I'd ask Spenny to do it for me.
And Spenny would do it for you. Who do you think is going to win that one?
I'm going to go for Motherwell.
Yeah? Okay. Livingston Ayr is Ruffy. You think that's the shock?
Yeah, I think Ayr United have added quite a lot. For down south, he's tapped into his contacts down there. They look pretty impressive. I just think Ayr United, they were really terrific last year in the Championship and just fell short. But I think this year they're going to be stronger as well. And everything that's going on at Livingston, I don't know if the boy Bruce Anderson, if he's still out, I think he's a big player for them. Comes up with a goal here and there. So, no, I'd be looking at this game and I think Ayr United would think, I think it'll go the whole road. And I'm going to stick with Ayr United.
Yeah, okay. Airdrie against Ross County. Suddenly, I don't think there's a despondency around Ross County now. He's managed to just fill everybody with confidence the way they've gone about their business in the early part of the season. Yeah, I think they've strengthened the summer. They had to. They were, in my opinion, they were fortunate to stay up. I thought Partick Thistle had them by the throat and let them off the hook. So he strengthened, he's brought players in, and they've started the season really well. I think everyone was impressed with them against Celtic, the way they started the game. They scored 2 goals at Parkhead. Not many teams go to Parkhead and scored 2 goals, and they could have scored another couple. So I think they got into this game as favourites. But Airdrie are good. I think the boy Rhys McCabe came off injured last week, got a bad injury right enough, which could be a problem for them because he not only is the manager, but he's probably one of their best players as well. So no, but I think Ross County will just have enough. I think the guys like Jordan White, you know, and the guys like up front, I think they'll have enough to maybe just nick through. Okay, hopefully you're enjoying the content that we promised you on PLZ Soccer's YouTube channel across our website and our app as well, which is currently updated and looking really good for you to get on it, download it, see all the breaking stories, and of course you can watch the football show on it as well, and you can enjoy getting involved in the predictor as well. And I mentioned all the programmes that we've got. It was a great start with Kerry Pollock and Laura Montgomery and Alison McConnell on the women's football show. If you like women's football, Kerry and Alison with a special guest each week will look ahead to the fixtures and of course look at the weekend results as well, so it's well worth watching. Of course Ruffy and Tam always get together with Kerry on a Saturday morning at 9 on our YouTube channel for the weekend preview, so hopefully you can join them for that. And as we mentioned, as well as the football show, and delighted to add Neil Lennon and Lee McCulloch to our team. As well as the football show, we've got a new show starting called Straight Talk. Basically, I'm going to be going out and about right across the UK and beyond and sitting down with people of interest that hopefully some of them will talk football, some of them will talk out with football. And if you like a podcast or indeed watching some very interesting guests, hopefully you'll come along for the ride with me and see some of the famous faces that I'll be speaking to. So there is lots of content there for you to enjoy. And having spoken to a number of people, Ruffy, they certainly enjoyed the Journos programme which we've launched, which basically is special guest journalists from the written press and beyond, who basically will give us their thoughts on all things in world football, some of the burning issues. It was a great one to start with because I thought we were going to have a full scaler. Andrew Smith and Hugh MacDonald looked as if they were just about to come to blows.
Well, obviously we had Hugh on last year, and any time we go out with Hugh, it's interesting to listen to the people that they've interviewed and the stuff they come up with, the interviews he's had with Sir Alec Ferguson and everybody, and I'm sure the other journalists will have equal stories in their careers as well. So yeah, I think it'll be a really interesting show. Yeah, so lots of variety there for you, and of course we've decided to give you as much quality as we possibly can. Hopefully you'll hit the subscribe button on the YouTube channel as well. The English Premier League, just before I give you all the fixtures, who was the best player that you played against that you absolutely thought, wow, what a level he's operating at?
The obvious two is Ronaldo and Messi, but I'd take them away. I'd say Paul Scholes. Yeah. What was it about him? He just couldn't get near him. His passing range, he could take the ball past you. That'd have been hard, but just balance. Everyone got a goal in him. Horrible little guy when he was tackling. He's quite aggressive out of possession. So yes, I think hands down Paul Scholes. Yeah, the English Premier League this year, certainly with the money that's being spent, they're still, giving the Saudi Arabian League a run for their money. Here's the fixtures to look forward to. Of course, Nottingham Forest against Sheffield United, Fulham Brentford, Liverpool Bournemouth, Luton Town against Burnley, Wolves against Brighton, Tottenham against Manchester United, Man City, Newcastle. That's state against state, surely, Tam. Aston Villa against Everton, West Ham against
against Chelsea and Crystal Palace against Arsenal. Because of your Russian satellite operating system, which one would you think I'm not going to miss it?
Man City Newcastle. Man City Newcastle. I think Newcastle will be very good this year. And that'll be a tough game. That'll be a tough game. Man City obviously started strongly last week, but that'll be a hard game for them, Newcastle.
Yeah, it's one of those leagues where I sometimes look and I think to myself, I wonder how the financial fair play league actually works. How does it work?
Chelsea getting around it, by the way. They spent about $2 billion.
Do you know how much he spent?
20-year contract.
Do you know how much Ted Bully has spent since he came in March 2021? From this week alone, it just sent them over $1 billion. Since he came in 2021, he spent £1 billion roughly on Chelsea. And then, of course, players have been offloaded right, left and centre, here and there, but $1 billion.
That's why they look for success. I mean, okay, these guys have got lots of money in that, but I know they're in it, you know, but they were in it to win it. They want to be the owner that wins this or wins that, or at the end of the day.
Lee, can you imagine the chairman going into Walter and sitting down and saying, look, in the next couple of years we're going to spend $1 billion. You know, Walter's immediate reaction would, Lee, I'm going to let you leave. I'm going to pay you up.
You're first out.
In full. $1 billion, eh?
I know, it's incredible amount of money.
The great managers, what they could do with £1 billion spent on their team, we're looking on like paupers sometimes. But nevertheless, hopefully you enjoyed the football chat. Been absolutely magnificent. Great to have Lee with us, Ruffy and Tam. Don't forget Kerry, and of course Tam and Ruffy will be with you for the preview of those fixtures tomorrow. A bit of fun. Did you do the quiz again? You love the quiz, don't you, Ruffy? Are you ahead at the moment?
No.
No chance.
It's well worth it because Kerry's got them fighting each week on the quiz to see who's going to win it, and it's well worth watching on a Saturday morning. No programme tomorrow at 4:45 because obviously it's the League Cup, not too many fixtures on for Tam and I to blether about anyway, so you'll get a Saturday free from us. But if you join us on Monday, we'll look back over those Viaplay League Cup ties in the company of Tam, Ruffy and Neil Lennon. Thanks to Lee, thanks to Ruffy, thanks to Tam. From myself, Peter Martin, hit the subscribe button on our YouTube channel. Come and join the football family, and thanks for watching.